All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm just going to give this a minute. See if give people a chance to trickle in. Welcome. If you, we're going to get started in a minute. If you have any questions at any point, just put them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. Flipping back and forth between screens here, and trying to remain focused on task. All right, so like I said, just going to give this one more minute and then we will get going. All right, let's go ahead and start. So welcome everybody. Pleased to be introducing you to Vendorful's AI Response Assistant. Thank you for joining. Thank you for signing up. And in the next kind of 10 to 15 minutes, I'm just going to walk you through the basics of using the Response Assistant, from uploading your content to then running an RFP or security questionnaire or DDQ, to asking kind of one-off questions of the AI based on your content. So with that, I'm just going to start. So I think you should all be seeing my screen. And let me set the stage here and say that in this demo environment, there's a fictitious company called Acme CRM that makes a CRM software tool. And so all the content that you're going to see is related to past RFPs and security documents for Acme CRM. But it can be obviously anything. And the example document I'm going to run for this demo is a blank RFP for a fictitious CRM system. But it can also be a security questionnaire, due diligence questionnaire, whatever's relevant to your organization, your needs at the time. It can be many documents as well. You can, you don't have to populate your content library for just one type of response or one type of questionnaire. We will pull out from all of your content the most relevant information, so that if you are, running RFPs and security questionnaires, you can just have content related to both. That's actually what we do internally. We just have one content library with past RFPs, marketing collateral, sales collateral, and also security documentation, so that we can easily run all types of different questionnaires. But let me just show you what the content looks like. So when you arrive on the Vendorful dashboard, very straightforward. There's only two things you can do. You can add content, and you can also run an RFP. The newest thing you could do is also ask the AI, and I'll show you what that is. All right, so in terms of content, there are two basic types of content you can load. One is spreadsheets that are in the form of questions and answers in a structured format, or general text and PDF files. And I'll show you an example of both. I'm going to start with a past RFP. So I am loading up an old RFP that this fictitious company has filled out, and you see it's in the form of an Excel file. When you upload an Excel file, we bring you to this little annotator. It's like Excel in your browser. And because Excel files can be just about anything, and we don't necessarily know exactly which cells are going to be questions, which are going to be answers, we just ask you to very briefly annotate it and tell us. It's very straightforward. Just highlight the questions, and you click here, you highlight the answers, and you see that we've now matched up. We have these 6 questions and these 6 answers. And there are shortcuts as well to make this faster. So I can actually just select a whole column at a time and say, everything in column B is a question, everything in column C is an answer. And if I accidentally selected something, say a row header or whatever, that is not a question and answer, I can just click clear and then click on whatever it is I want to remove. But I actually do want to add that back in. And so now, there you go. I've got 35 question answer pairs. And by the way, there can be multiple sheets in here. You can select all of them, load them in separately or all together. When I'm ready, I click add content. And you'll see what happens here is we parse the document and we load up all of the questions and answers that we extracted from that document. They're now available to your content library to draw from. And you'll notice here, there's this little trash can icon. You can remove any specific question answer pairs if they're not relevant or they're outdated, and delete entire source documents as well. You see we've now got 4 documents in here, 2 spreadsheets, 2 old completed RFPs, and then a couple of information security policy documents. I'm going to add one more piece of content here just to show you what this looks like. I'm going to add a PDF file, which is Acme's Disaster Recovery and Business Continuity Plan. Now this works a little bit differently. When you upload a PDF, we just split it up into text chunks, and then just add them straight into the content library, kind of all of the text data related to or inside of this file. So it's a little bit different from a spreadsheet where there's structured data and we need you to identify question answer pairs. For a PDF, we just take it in as text. We are actually working on a feature to provide a similar annotation for Word documents. That'll be released pretty soon. So look for a coming onboarding session where we'll explain how that works as well. But for now, we have 5 pieces of content. We've got some past RFPs. We've got some security policy documents. Let's go ahead and run an RFP. So the other thing you can do once you've got your content library is run an RFP or security questionnaire or DDQ. We don't care which. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So here again, I've got a blank RFP for this fictitious company. It's one that hasn't seen before. And you'll recognize this annotation screen. It's very similar. It's the same experience. You got, you need to tell us, okay, these are questions, and where do you want the answers to go? So that at the end of it, we're going to, excuse me. So at the end, see, I messed up, and this is why we have a clear function. So that's a question. So at the end of this whole process, you're going to be able to export the results, and we're going to export it in the original format. So we need to know where the answers go so that you can get back the document in the form that you need it. We've got the same shortcuts that apply here. I can select a whole column of questions and a whole column of answers, and we'll pair them off. And we automatically identify like, okay, this is not empty. There's something here, so that's probably like a header. And so we actually don't tag that as being relevant. Okay, here we go. We've identified 30 questions and answers. I'm going to go ahead and submit it. So now it's going through a similar process to what you saw previously. We're parsing the document. The difference now is once we've identified all of the questions, we're then going to use our AI model to start generating answers. And the way it's generating those answers is it is finding the most relevant content from your content library. So, you can look here. So, for an overview of your company, it's going to be doing a semantic search to identify information, descriptive information about your company, including its history, mission, etc. Not just matching on words and strings, but actually matching on a semantic understanding of what the question is. And then based on all the content that we think is relevant to answer that question, we feed that into a large language model and ask it to, synthesize that into a good answer to this question. And you see it takes about, somewhere between 10 or maybe 5 to 30 seconds per answer, usually closer to 5. So, it'll take a few minutes to run through this whole 30 question RFP. And then at the end of it, you'll see we provide you not only the answers that are generated, but also context for where the information behind those answers came from, and then the ability to make edits to those answers, and the ability to collaborate, and then the ability to resave those answers if you want and add them to your content library if you've made some changes that you think are important to keep going forward. You can see we're almost done here. Okay, and there we are. So in this case, it was able to answer all 30 of the questions in the RFP from the existing content. If it isn't, there will be another category here, filter category, unanswered, not enough information, and it will tell you on here. And I'll show you an example when I ask the AI, that it is tuned to not make up answers if it doesn't have the information, and I'll show you examples of that. So you see, like we talked about, the concise overview of your company. So you see it's written a short history here, describing what it does, the founding team, business objectives. If I click in here, you can see that I can edit this. I can say, our mission is to blah, blah, blah. And I can use that as my answer here. So I've now, registered this as a human answer, and I can filter by, ones that are answered by the AI, ones that are answered by humans. And I can also, as I said earlier, look at the source content to figure out where these answers came from. So if anything looks a little strange, or I want to know why it answered a certain way, I've often found myself using the tool that sometimes when there's a strange answer or an answer that feels weird to me, it's because there's actually a piece of content that's either outdated, or one time we couldn't figure out why it kept giving our office address as 123 Main Street. And it turned out we had loaded in an old example RFP by mistake that we just kind of filled out as like a test. And it had 123 Main Street as our address, and that's what it was drawing from. So it wasn't actually, it looked like it was making it up, but actually there was a specific answer it was drawing from, and we were able to track it down by identifying the source material in here. So there's an audit trail for where the information is coming from, and then also likewise an audit trail of the text the text chunks from your non-spreadsheet data sources. And then we also give you the option, if I want to just select an answer specifically, like, okay, I actually want to just use this answer from our content library. Maybe it's been vetted by legal and compliance, and I don't want to edit it. I don't want to use an AI answer. I can just do that. It's found the closest answer based on the semantics of the question, and I just want to use the content library answer. So you have that option as well. I'm going to pause briefly here to just double check. All right, no questions. So one thing you can do is, if you have made changes and you've made edits, you can import the answers that you've edited back into your content library, like I mentioned earlier. And then at the end of this, if I'm happy with everything, if everything looks good, you can just download the response, and it's going to give it to us as an Excel file, in exactly the format that we uploaded. Okay, so the other cool feature here is the ability to just ask one-off questions of the AI tool. So think of it as your internal expert. You've got all this information related to security policy, IT setup, whatever. Instead of having to go to somebody in IT to ask a question, say I want to know, where are our data centers located? Say that this has come up in a discovery call, or someone, a prospect has asked me over email. We can just ask, okay, all the located in the United States. Okay, well, this sounds strange, right? We're using multiple clouds. Well, actually, yes. So it turns out, from a past RFP, we see that we are actually using a multi-hosting strategy, and the data centers are spread across the U.S. And so actually it is, you have the whole audit history here of where the data is coming from and your synthesized answer. But let's say that I want to ask something that it probably doesn't know the answer to. Controversial topic. So rather than making up an answer, it just says, I don't have enough information to answer that. And so, it's not going to provide an answer. And we think that's very important, because you may always, for various reasons, for marketing, for messaging, you may want to make edits to the AI answers. What you don't want to have to do is fact check every single thing that comes out of it. You want to have confidence that what it is saying is at least factually correct and reasonable. And then, everything else, yes, you want to make some edits, you want to reword some things, you want to bring in certain context that you as a human know about the prospect and the opportunity. That's where you want to focus your attention. And so with that, we've now kind of run through everything. It's very straightforward to use, hopefully you should have an easy time getting started with this little lesson. Look forward to helping you all out. If you ever have any issues, just drop us a line at support@vendorful.ai, and somebody will get back to you quickly. Thank you very much.